You know, I like to start on time. We'll end on time, hopefully, and we'll get everybody back to work. So let me make sure. Joey, we're good? Great. Okay, well, good morning. Welcome to Franklin Tomorrow Frank Talks. Today is May 13th. If anybody's asking, just like I was, what day it is, it's Monday, May 13th. Can't believe we're in the middle of May. Did anybody see the Northern Lights over the weekend? Wow, great. We tried, and I can't believe we were driving through lots of open space, no lights, and at 1 o'clock in the morning in Alabama that I didn't see the lights, the Northern Lights. But okay, missed those. So thanks so much for being here. I'm Mindy Tate, CEO of Franklin Tomorrow. I know most of you, we've got some new faces in the room. And we are so excited to have you today as we learn about emergency medical services. And I joked it's nice to see the ambulance from the outside while not on a stretcher. But I've always had such great response from Williamson Medical when I've had to call an ambulance. But I'm so happy to say that my friends at Franklin Fire usually get there first, too. So it's great to see you. So thanks so much. We're going to start out, and we have a handy-dandy prize today for Did You Know? And I'm going to ask Nancy Conway to come up and do our Did You Know segment.
Thank you, Mindy, and good morning, everyone. Well, this is a very eventful program because you are going to learn so much and probably, hopefully, some new things that you did not already know. But for the quiz question, I will ask it, and then I'll get Mindy to help me look and see who raises their hand first. The person who answers this correctly first will get a prize. So, regarding Williamson Health EMS, how many ambulances do they have? 11. Incorrect. Sorry. Sorry, incorrect.
Somewhere between 11 and 24. Somewhere between 15 and 20.
Incorrect, sorry.
17.
What? 17. Incorrect, sorry. Incorrect. What did he say?
18, yay, Lynn wins.
Okay.
18.
All right, Dr. Lane.
No, it's Lynn in the back.
Lynn in the back. Oh, okay, excuse me. Dr. Lane didn't hear.
So we're going to learn a lot about EMS. I'm sorry, I thought Nancy had another tidbit. We're going to learn a lot about EMS, and there is a first responder system, but the way I think about it, in an emergency, if you're there, you're the first responder. So this program is to help you be better at being first responder and being prepared for an emergency in your home or your workplace or in public. So that we're excited to be here this morning. We couldn't be here without our partners, and those include Atmos Energy, who is one of our sustaining partners. Williamson Health is also a sustaining partner for us, and I'll have Greg Brory come up for just a second.
Thank you. In your chair or near you in a chair, you can see a flyer. The tower that we've been busy building is going to be opening for a grand opening community celebration on June the 18th. You can see one of our 18 ambulances there, plus a lot of other free activities. We've got food, we've got touch-a-trucks, lots of kids' activities. We'll have a big tent for this to be under, so they don't have to worry about the sun as much. We'll have some tours of the new facility, so please let folks know about it. Come see us on June the 18th. We are delighted to welcome some of our community partners here as we go forward.
Thanks so much. Yes, we've been watching and seeing that tower go up, and we're excited to be elevating excellence. That's the theme of that event, a community celebration. But our other important partner is our presenting partner for Frank Talks, and that's Renaissance Bank. We've got Harrison Crabtree, Diane LeBlanc, Tina Anderson, and Diane's going to give us a few words before we play a video.
Renaissance Bank, understanding you.
Thanks, Mindy, and thanks everyone for being here on a Monday. Hope if you are a mother, you had a wonderful Mother's Day, and it was such a beautiful weather weekend, just incredible for Middle Tennessee. So really amazing day, and it's okay that it rains on a Monday, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We get a nice weekend. Well, Renaissance Bank is celebrating its 120th year this year, started in 1904. So I've left some information on your chairs this morning just to give you an idea of the scope of our coverage in the Southeast and just a little bit about our financial numbers for the first quarter of 2024. Renaissance is primarily in the Southeast, and I was listening to Tom Lawrence this morning on the way over, and he was talking about with a gentleman that was visiting here from the rodeo, and they were talking about how they love coming to Franklin. They love being here. They love coming early. They love seeing the people primarily in the South, in the Middle Tennessee area. So I think it ties in with Renaissance, us being in the Southeast, and how we are all about taking care of others, as you saw in the video, as well as we love taking care of our clients. And I've got today Harrison Crabtree, our Williamson County President, with me, as well as Tina Anderson up here in front with, she's our branch manager of our Franklin office. So we've got 2 Franklin locations, Carruthers, 9135 Carruthers, as well as Harrison and Tina and I are in the downtown Franklin office, right across from the police station. So just wanted to say thank you to Mindy for allowing Renaissance Bank to be a sponsor. We love this opportunity and love helping in the community. So please stop us if we can help answer any questions, but we'd love to help you as well with your banking. Thank you.
So I was in Montgomery, Alabama a couple years ago, and I was in downtown Montgomery, and I turned around and there was this big tower with Renaissance Bank on it, and I was like, I didn't really understand that. And I've been in Huntsville, Alabama, where they're also a big presence, and so it was very interesting sometimes to see what your neighbors, who your neighbors are a little on the outside too, so that's kind of fun. So who enjoyed coffee this morning? Emily had that up. The Lion Leadership Group, which is our McDonald's franchisee, always is so gracious in providing coffee. And Emily, did you get any update on when the 96 West store is really going to get up out of the ground? Because you just don't realize it's gone until it's gone. So they are rebuilding. We're excited and appreciate their support. They are very generous, not only to Franklin Tomorrow, but to Williamson Inc. and other organizations in providing refreshments. So welcome this morning. You came here to learn about emergency medical services, hopefully, or meet somebody new. And we have representing today the American Heart Association, and we'll hear from them in a minute, but the American Heart is demonstrating the importance of hands-only CPR and how it can increase survival until EMS arrives. We have Blood Assurance, sharing the urgency of blood donations and their partnership with Williamson Health, and you'll hear more about that. And then Williamson Health will be sharing their countywide presence and the need to call 911 versus driving. If you are on our roads frequently, you know there's a lot of traffic, and you don't have lights and sirens on your vehicle, okay? But they do, and they can get you there. So we're going to start by hearing from Kelly Jamerson from the American Heart Association. And so welcome. Come on up, Kelly. Here's the clicker, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. Good morning, everyone. As she said, I'm Kelly Jamerson, Vice President of Development for your American Heart Association here in Middle Tennessee. To kick us off this morning, early on a Monday morning, I'm just going to share 3 numbers with you all. 100, 47, and 1. You got that? All right. 100. This year, the American Heart Association is celebrating its 100th anniversary. So Renaissance has us beat by a little bit. But we are continuing to be a relentless force for a world of longer and healthier lives. All right, that second number I told you was 47. 47% of Americans are living with some form of cardiovascular disease. And so that's why your American Heart Association is working every day to try to combat that stat. So we're working with partners like Mercy in the back to help individuals control their blood pressure. We are helping fund innovative, life-saving research. And we're teaching hands-only CPR so everyone can be empowered to help save a life. All right, what was the last number? 1. At the end of the day, it comes down to that one person. And so I heard a story last week that I want to share with you all today about that one person. This is your neighbor in Williamson County, a principal at a local elementary school, was doing her morning workout class, and she started feeling pain. Throughout the course of the day, it just kept getting worse. She did not listen to the advice of our team. She drove herself to Williamson Medical. But after a series of tests, they discovered that she was, in fact, having a heart attack. She got fantastic treatment from Williamson Health and continues to do cardio rehab there. So I loved what Mindy said about you are the first link in that chain of survival. And so today, I'm excited to introduce my colleague, Holly Furchess, who's going to show you all how to do some hands-only CPR and what to do, like I said, if you are that first link in the chain of survival. Can you guys hear me good if I don't use a mic? Okay. Do you need me to use it? Can I hold it? Because I got some. Yes. Or do you have I'll take it. Okay.
All right. Kelly, if you'll go to that next slide for me. Just want to take a brief second, which Kelly's story kind of hits home why it matters and why it's important to know CPR. We were just outside talking to some of the paramedics, and Kelly and I both are proud residents of Williamson County, and just recognizing the excellent emergency care and emergency services we have here. But when a dispatcher goes to call them, what is going to improve and increase the excellence here in Williamson County and our chain of survival is when dispatch calls them if they say CPR in progress, okay? They're going to come and they're going to perform phenomenal CPR. But what they need is quick bystanders who are prepped and ready to help initiate that chain of survival. And so that's what we're gonna talk about today, and we're just gonna take a few seconds to learn hands-only CPR because it's easy to learn, and it just takes a few minutes to learn and to know, and it's simple. We've simplified this so that you can leave here empowered to save the life of someone you know and love. But just a couple things here. What cardiac arrest is, but it is the leading cause of death. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S. Each year, more than 350,000 EMS-assessed out-of-hospital cardiac arrests occur in the United States. So cardiac arrest that occurs outside of a hospital, 350,000. And when a person has a cardiac arrest, survival depends on immediately receiving CPR from someone nearby. So immediately, and not just survival, but also not having any neurological deficits, right? So we want to initiate quickly. Time matters. And about 90% of people who suffer out of hospital cardiac arrest die. Okay, 90% that suffer cardiac arrest outside of a hospital die, and we are working to decrease that percentage, okay? And one of the ways we're gonna do that is by empowering our neighbors and our loved ones to be able to initiate CPR. Again, 70% of out-of-hospital cardiac arrest happens in the home. This means that in the event that you need to perform CPR, it is very likely that that is going to be on someone that you know and you love, okay? And that also inspires me and empowers me. I mean, I literally was at home over the weekend with my parents, and I was making sure they knew hands-only CPR. Now, it's been a minute. Let's talk about this. I want to make sure you know hands-only CPR so that they're prepared to do it. And about 46% of people who experience an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest receive immediate help, okay? So 70% that happens outside of the hospital happens in your home, okay? 70% happens in the home. So someone you know and love. And only 46% of those cardiac arrests does a bystander, does a loved one initiate CPR, okay? So we need that 46 to be much higher. And if that 46% is much higher than that 90% of, we only have a 10% of survival rate, we want to increase that. And it starts with increasing this 46% of people who receive CPR by a bystander in the field before our phenomenal EMS and paramedics arrive, okay? So that's why we have to learn. We have to know it. So I'm going to very quickly, I'm going to walk you through this. And then you'll have the opportunity. We brought some mannequins with us. You'll have the opportunity when we're done today to even come and practice really quickly, just to get a feel, make sure you know how this works. Okay? If you want to go ahead, Kelly, to the next one, it's 2 simple steps. Okay, everybody remember 2 simple steps. I know it's Monday morning, but we're going to learn 2 simple steps. And the first one is call 911. We need help to be on the way. All right? We need them on their way with their lights and sirens. They're coming, they're coming. And the second thing is to push hard and fast in the center of the chest. And I know this is not me performing certified CPR, okay? But this is the quick, the easy, how can I help them immediately before they show up ready to do perfect CPR, okay? So this is what we train the community in. You don't need to worry about rescue breaths. I know we've been trained on the 30 and 2. You don't have to worry about rescue breaths. We are training because research has shown that this can be just as effective and is just as effective if initiated quickly. That you call 911 and you push hard and fast in the center of the chest. All right, you want about 100 to 120 compressions per minute. So what's the song? Who knows the song for CPR? Staying alive, right? That's it. So staying alive, I'm staying alive. So that's that beat. We want to just push hard and fast, staying alive, and you do not stop until help arrives. We're calling 911. We make sure they're on their way. And one of the reasons I want you to stop and practice is because it is really important to understand that performing good compressions is exhausting. It can be tiresome. You get your body, you lock those elbows, and you put the palm of your hand right in the center of the chest, and you lock hands, and you start pushing. I'm going to show you in just a second. And you start pushing, and it is exhausting. And that's why it is important that someone is coming. Okay? You're not going to be able to sustain that for very long. So we're going to call 911, and we're going to start pushing hard and fast in the center of the chest. Who can do that? Who can do that? We can do that, right? I'm going to show you. Kelly, will you hold this for just a second? I'm going to show you just really briefly kind of what this looks like. And then just kind of for the sake of just for the sake of time, I want you to stop in and just practice really quickly before you leave here today.
But first things first is they do need to be on a hard, flat surface if they can be, right? So if they're in a bed or something, if you can get them to the floor, get them to the floor so they're on a hard, flat surface. And then you're gonna take, palm your hand, put your hand on your chest like you're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, now pull your fingers back. Right there is about that center of the chest, okay? And so that's what you want to aim for. The center of the chest. You're gonna lean your body, so use your body weight over. I interlock my hands and I lock my elbows, right? We don't want the compression in the elbows. We want the compression right in their chest. I'm gonna lean over and I'm gonna just start. And I'm not gonna stop. And I'm not gonna stop till those incredible paramedics that we have in Livingston County arrive on the scene with their Lucas machine, and they start performing perfect CPR, and they get them to a phenomenal emergency department where we have phenomenal doctors, right? And they're gonna do good work, and they're gonna save lives, okay? But it starts with you. It starts with you. We are the first link in the chain of survival in our community. So you call them. And don't worry, don't start counting numbers in your head. Sometimes one of the reasons people don't do CPR is because they start getting confused. Am I supposed to give compressions and then breaths, or this and that and the other? Just let your mind be done with that. And just push hard and fast in the center of the chest. Can we do it? We can. We can. Any questions really quickly? Yes, you may break bones. That's exactly right.
What's the most time you've ever been able to do that without just being exhausted yourself?
Without being exhausted myself, I was going at it. I don't know how long I've done it on the mannequin. I do come from a clinical background before I started working for Heart Association and have done CPR on real live people before in the emergency department. The good thing about being in a hospital is you can quickly change out with someone else, and we can do it. But not long. But not the good thing, but the good thing about in the moment is you will also have adrenaline on your side, right? But if someone else is there, if someone's around you, if you're at the ball field or you've got another loved one, you tell him, you come here. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm pushing hard and fast. Come here, lock your elbows, get your hand right here, and you coach them through it. And you keep changing back and forth until they arrive.
The position that you were in,
It is the easiest, yes. So which a lot of times when people collapse, right, they're in the floor. The only other time when that makes it not likely is if they are in bed, asleep or something, and then become unresponsive. And that's when you want to try to just pull them to the ground. Okay. And the other thing he asked, can you break bones? Yes, you may very well break bones, very likely. And if you're pulling them to the ground, yes, something may, watch their head, all those things. But people cannot survive their heart not beating. They can survive broken bones, okay? So we want to just do what we got to do, and you become the beat of their heart. Top priority. Yes, doctor.
Morning. So I'm Andy Russell. I'm an emergency room physician at Williamson Health. So I just wanted to comment about how long do we normally go doing CPR. If you're doing it right, 2 to 3 minutes. With ACLS protocols, we give medicines. We check for pulses every 3 minutes. So we have a line of techs waiting to do CPR, but we rotate every 3 minutes because if you're doing it right, it's very tiring. And like she was saying, yes, you can break bones. But I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to do CPR because they're not going to survive. If you do nothing, they're not going to survive. So you break a rib or something, or you're doing it too slow, you're not doing it quite hard enough, that's okay. That's still better than nothing. Obviously, we want everybody to do really strong, high-quality CPR, but I'd much rather somebody get bad CPR than no CPR, because with no CPR, that person's not going to survive. Sorry.
Stop by here and practice. We got many things out.
So we would encourage you to stop by and practice. I also want to mention Sarah Glenn is here from the Franklin Fire Department, and they've been hosting a series of community CPR classes that are based on hands-only CPR and being responsive there. There's one session left so far, but I'm betting that maybe we could convince them to do some later this year as well. But you do have the chance to practice today. Thank you, Kelly and Holly, so much. So next I'm going to bring up something that's a very important component in healthcare, and I'm going to bring Bethany up from Blood Assurance. Don't know where Bethany, oh, there's Bethany over there. She was hiding on me. So have her come up and talk about Blood Assurance and their mission. It may not be a name as familiar to you as some of the other blood donor sites, but it has a much more important connection for you if you live in our community. So Bethany, come on up.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here, and thank you, Greg, for having us. Oh, there we are. So I'm Bethany Rogers. I am the account manager for Williamson County for Blood Assurance, and we are your local community blood bank. And I wanted to start with our mission because really and truly this informs everything we do. Every decision that is made internally is because of this mission statement: to supply a safe and adequate supply of blood and blood components in a cost-effective manner to every area patient in need. The reason that's important is because we are your local blood bank. We are it. When somebody you love, somebody you care about, your neighbor, somebody you go to church with, has a trauma, gets cancer, has a disease where they're needing frequent transfusions, that blood comes from Blood Assurance. The blood that is collected here, it stays here. Donating blood, no matter what, it's good and it's important and it is the right thing to do. But I feel, especially because of the way that Williamson County is, when you are out there and you're donating blood, I suspect that you assume that that blood is going to your local healthcare facilities, that that blood is going to Williamson County. And unless you're donating with Blood Assurance, it's not. I'm going too fast. So just a little bit, some of the common questions about blood, what we do, what we use, how we use it. Whole blood is what is, when you see the blood mobiles out there, when your organizations have a blood drive, we take whole blood. It's used in trauma patients. We are always looking for type O negative blood because that's the blood that we can give infants when we don't know their blood type. That is the blood that's carried on the ambulances. That's the blood that's given when we do not have time to find out what someone's blood type is. We give them O negative. When it's a surgery, there's been a little bit more time. Ideally, we're giving somebody their own blood type. We also, at our facility, we collect plasma, which is used primarily in burn recovery. If you have AB negative, that plasma, again, can be given very quickly because anybody can take AB negative plasma. And platelets are primarily used for cancer patients. Platelets have a very, very short shelf life. By the time they've gone through testing and everything, they have about a 2.5-day shelf life. We always need platelets. And if you have ever loved somebody who's having cancer treatments, you probably know the importance of that. So this is just a little like who can give to who. The long and short of it is type O blood can go to all blood types. Type O negative can really go to all blood types. Very few people have type O negative, which is why we're always looking for it. Type O positive is a little bit more common. And then you get into A, B negative. People with AB blood can take blood from everybody. But they're still very important to our process because they can donate plasma and platelets. Whatever blood type you have, there's a need for it. Every single morning, I get in my email a chart, a color-coded chart with where we're at, what our blood supply is, how many days of any particular blood that we have. And there are always days where certain blood types are very low. So don't think, oh, I'm B positive, nobody really needs my blood. We really do. So we have been partners with Williamson Health for almost 8 years now. We're so proud, so happy with that partnership. Williamson Health alone uses almost 3,000 units of blood. That's 3,000 units of blood. 1 unit of blood is 1 blood donation. That means that 3,000 people over the course of a year said yes to donating blood. Blood can't be manufactured. If it could, somebody would be a billionaire because of it. There's no way to make blood. There's no pharmaceutical that will do. The only way that we can get blood is by people donating. And this is how much blood one hospital in Williamson County uses. This is the lab director at Williamson Health, and she can say so much more eloquently than I what the need is for blood donors.
I think people don't understand that this is something that we need every day. Every day there's a car accident. Every day there might be some type of trauma. Every day we see, somebody that needs blood. I think a lot of people think, oh, well, there's plenty of blood and I don't need to donate. And we see people step up to the plate when there's a tornado, there's some type of a disaster. But there are things that happen every day. We constantly need blood. We have patients that are transfusion dependent, meaning they're in some type of cancer treatment, and we frequently transfuse them with platelets and red cells. Then we also have the patients that come into the emergency room. One of the things that I love about our partnership with Blood Assurance, and a lot of people don't know this, is that the donations that we take in Williamson County go to your family, your friends, the people you go to church with, the people that you go to school with. Our blood that we donate here pretty much supplies Williamson County's blood supply. They're not just a vendor, but they're a partner to Williamson Health. They do a super job of keeping us stocked with blood. One of the things that I am so thankful for is that they really try to be proactive. And many times throughout a year, there'll be a blood shortage through all blood suppliers. And we'll see people having to cancel elective surgeries. Those are things that happen when you can't get blood. Luckily, we have never had to do that here because we work closely with Blood Assurance. We're also very good stewards of this gift.
What kind of a difference would it make if everybody who could donate did donate?
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. You would never have to worry about your blood supply. You would be able to have plenty of platelets, plenty of plasma, all the components that we use. One of the things that I would challenge organizations to do is host blood drives and host them with Blood Assurance. People don't realize that Blood Assurance is our sole blood source here in Williamson County and at Williamson Health. I would urge donors to, if they see a blood drive, go. If you've never tried it, try it. Think about the why it's important to donate, what you're going to be doing. You don't realize that the blood that you give will go to save somebody's life.
The EMTs. I am so proud of this. There are, in fact, 18 ambulances for Williamson Health, and every single one of those carries 2 units of Blood Assurance blood. We are also on the air medical transport helicopters, and those are very immediate statistics. 2 units of blood on the ambulances, on the helicopters. That's because the blood is needed now. When a patient needs a transfusion, tomorrow is too late. After you have heard of a trauma, a horrific car wreck, a tornado, a mass shooting, it's too late. We need that blood tested. We need it in the hospitals. And I feel like I'm preaching and nagging, but the truth is, we need this. We need people to donate. I need when you are out there and you see a Blood Assurance blood mobile. If you have the time, please stop. Please donate. If you have an organization, whether that is a church, a business, a civic organization, please consider hosting a blood drive. Very quickly, we are also part, in addition to supplying the blood for Williamson Medical, we are part of a national organization where we rotate in putting aside blood in case there is either a nationwide emergency or another state has an emergency where their blood supply cannot keep up. And likewise, were we to ever be in a position here where our blood supply could not keep up, we would be able to get units from BERC, the Blood Emergency Readiness Corps. When I tell you that Blood Assurance cares about Williamson County, I mean it to the core of my bones. There are quite literally people working day and night. There are lab techs and couriers working day and night to make sure that we are providing a safe and adequate blood supply. We absolutely need the community. Really, now more than ever, since COVID, things have changed quite a bit with our ability to collect blood, with people being willing to give blood, with, I'm not even really sure what it is, but we need you. We cannot do it without you. So please, if you see a Blood Assurance truck, stop and donate. If you would like to know where we're having blood donations, blood drives, Franklin Tomorrow almost always has them. We are also on the Williamson Inc. website and my Facebook, if you follow me. If you would like to host a blood drive, please come back to the back and grab my card and let me know.
Can you get blood on a daily basis? Are there places to donate?
There are, yes, you can come to the Franklin Donor Center, which is on Mallory Lane. Everybody knows where Sperry's is, right? So we're in that exact same shopping center as Sperry's. You can come there, donate platelets, plasma, or blood. We generally have 2 or 3 blood drives happening in your community every week, and you can always find out where those are as well.
Any questions?
Yes.
How long can you keep blood?
Blood, whole blood, gosh, whole blood lasts, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I know plasma, it's almost a year. Whole blood is several months. I apologize, I don't know precisely. Usually I do. And then platelets, it's about 2.5 days. So. Okay, thank you.
So yes, you can donate at their Franklin Donor Center, which is in that Sperry Shopping Center. It might even be near Hogwood Barbecue, but that makes me laugh out loud. So Williamson Health EMS, I'm going to ask Mark King, who's the Assistant Chief of EMS, to come up. You've already heard from Dr. Andy Russell. We might hear from him again if he was still here. There he is in the back. But thanks, Mark. Here's the clicker. And go from there.
Thank you so much. So will you automatically put my, there we go. I was just next. All right. Mark King, good to be here with y'all today. It's always exciting to be back at Columbia State alumni. So I like to point that out. So did any of you get to go out and take a look at our ambulance? Anybody get to do that? All right. So you saw some really great stuff. We're very proud. I'm glad they got to come over today. So we're going to go through and just kind of walk through the provision of EMS here in Williamson County, and that includes all 584 square miles. So we respond on a lot of calls for service, and we want to be prepared. We use a lot of technology, heavily involved in the rollout of EMS now. I'll give you just a quick tidbit about myself. Started here in September of 1989. So this September will be my 35th year. So, yeah. So this video that I'm going to show you is it's actually just over a year old. It was prepared for our anniversary, but it really does a great job of describing EMS in our community. And afterwards we'll talk about it a little bit.
911, what's your emergency?
We only know 2 speeds. We're either busy or super busy. Our goal to have an average response time every emergency of 8 minutes and 59 seconds or less countywide from the time you dial 911 to the time we arrive on the scene. As the lead agency for EMS in the community, we employ over 150 men and women that are all either licensed advanced emergency medical technicians, paramedics, and critical care paramedics. 50 years is an incredible landmark. So where we were 50 years ago, a matter of delivering patients quickly to the hospital, fast transportation, and very little patient care. 50 years later, the level of technology, patient care delivery that we provide in your living room or on the roadside, it's remarkable and life-saving.
I'm so proud of our EMS team here at Williamson Medical Center. We're also one of 7 EMS teams in the country that can provide blood services right on the scene, and the only one in the state of Tennessee. 50 years of providing service to this community is amazing to me.
We're the primary ambulance service, but a big part of that is also the collaboration that we have with every single city and county fire department across the community. They are a fully integrated component of the emergency response system, respond with us side by side on every emergency across the community. 911 Communications Center folks are an integrated component essential component of what we do. Also our law enforcement partners, emergency management. It is a large group of diverse team members, disciplines across all of public safety throughout the entire community. We have such an incredible group of men and women that serve, and they're very talented, and just being able to be there for them and support them in the delivery of their mission is truly a privilege.
So as you can tell, it's a big operation, okay? So I wanted to describe to you, and this map really shows it well. I love the question about the 18. I will give you a hint. If I come back next year, it'll be 19, okay? So we're all over from Fairview to Arrington. Actually have a couple units in the city of Spring Hill, Brentwood. We're all over Franklin and some of the unincorporated parts of Williamson County. So if you heard Chief Wallace, he said it was 150 personnel. That was 2 years ago. We're at 206 now, which is a little bit hard for me to imagine, even with 18 units. It's grown a lot, and we are prepared to grow it even more. We're anticipating by 2040, we'll be over 500,000 population in Williamson County, and so our expectation is that we're going to need to double our size. And so we're working with that through the hospital, through Williamson Health, and also the Williamson County government. So 18 ambulances, we just talked about the location, 3 district chiefs. Now, what is their function? They help coordinate the operations of the daily shift. As you can imagine, when you're having that many personnel and we're responding on emergencies throughout the community, a lot of coordination is needed, and so that's what they're there for. But they're also licensed critical care paramedics, and so that is where we carry our blood products on one of our district chief vehicles, and it responds all over Williamson County and to deliver that special component. About 22,000 calls for service a year, and that 754 average response time may sound a little bit long to you. I want to tell you the national best practice is less than 8:59 from the time you pick up 911 or the time you call 911, when you pick up the phone to call 911 till we arrive on the scene. And so that is one reason that we do partner with all of the other public safety agencies in the community. Franklin Fire, Brentwood, all the county fire departments. They're integral parts of the system, and we're very much appreciated it. So award-winning and nationally recognized. You know, that's one of those things that I like to highlight. I struggle just a little bit because I like to always brag on our team, but I guess I'm part of that team as well. And so yes, we've won 7 Star Life Awards, and that's something that you might not be familiar with, but it's very, very proud of that. And then the fact that we were the first in Tennessee to offer blood products from a primary 911 EMS agency. But I'm even more excited to say now that our program was modeled, and now it's in Crockett County, Tennessee as well. So I think that's a huge pat on the back. I think about the people that are in Crockett County and the fact that they may be serviced and provide some level of care that actually originated right here. And so I think it's pretty neat. So this is a heat map. Anybody in here familiar with a heat map? All right, so we use this to measure call volume and see where we need to be at. As you can see, that I-65 corridor, it's a hot spot. And so all the way from Brentwood all the way through to the county line. So we primarily focus on that area. We know we're gonna have to have extra coverage there, and so we do that. At the same time, the areas that are white, they're still just as important. They're still Williamson County residents that we want to make sure we take care of. And so we measure and monitor all that call volume data and make sure that we're able to meet the needs of our population. This is one aspect of technology that we use. And you talked about hands-only CPR. Phenomenal. The lady, awesome job. I really love that. Would encourage you to really listen to what she had to say and step up if you're ever in that position. We just got through videoing an AED video. It hadn't been released yet, but when you see that on social media, take a look at it. We really want you to get involved. You're going to make a difference. I talked with a gentleman just last week, and he had to do CPR on his loved one, and the dispatcher described how to do CPR. The gentleman did CPR. The one thing that really touched me, and I really hadn't been able to get it out of my mind, is that he said, I heard the sirens coming. And he said, I knew help would be there shortly. And proud to say, loved one, neurologically intact, back home, and they're doing well. So proud of that. So we're going to watch this video. This is the Lucas 3 device. It's made by Stryker. We carry this on every one of our EMS units in Williamson County.
Lucas is an automated CPR device that we carry on every ambulance here in Williamson County. It's kind of like in a backpack, so it's very mobile. When we go on a patient that is having a cardiac arrest where chest compressions need to be done, it allows us to continuously do chest compressions throughout the duration of us working that cardiac arrest. With this device, it stays attached to the patient and can be continuously doing those compressions while we're moving that patient from point A to point B. Take this in on calls that we were dispatched for actual cardiac arrest, patient's not breathing, patient doesn't have a heartbeat, something where it's reported where CPR is being done. Really an extra set of hands. So we may be securing an advanced airway, we may be pushing medications to help try to restart that heart, defibrillating the patient. A lot of other interventions that it frees us up to do now that we don't have a person dedicated just to doing the chest compressions. That is offering a better outcome for that patient because we have 0 interruptions in chest compressions. I definitely do think this is a game changer. According to our protocols, anybody above age 12 and higher, we can apply this device to. We don't apply this device to patients that are of traumatic arrest nature. We have some limitations on circumference size of patients. So as long as our actual device can fit around the circumference of the patient, it can be used. It makes me feel great that we carry Lucas on every ambulance here in Williamson County. I do believe this will save lives.
Thank you so much. As you can see, great tool. I've actually worked incidents where it's been used and the patient survived. It's really, really awesome. So, said 5-time recipient of the Star Life Award. That actually has changed. It was just 2 weeks ago we received 2 more. So blood products, lots of medications, very clinically sound. We go through a rigorous education system and a process, and that's ongoing every year. All of our personnel are trained. EKG transmission, that's very important. It helps to alert the emergency department before we arrive, where they can go ahead and activate the cath lab if that's something that you're needing. Hamilton ventilators, probably one of the few agencies in the state that carry Hamilton transport ventilators in our units. And it just helps to make such a difference when you have tools and technology that can help do, sometimes we don't like to say that it's better than the human effect, but it works better and it doesn't get tired. So why should you call 911 versus driving yourself to the hospital? Who wants to give me an idea? Traffic. Traffic's a great one. That's a great one. Now, I will tell you, just like Chief Wallace said, we work hard at providing excellent advanced level care at your home and on the way to the hospital. So that's another thing is we're starting that care before you ever get to the hospital. Some of our personnel, or all of our personnel, they're amazing. They do some tremendous work. I'm so proud of them. But they will get there very quickly. We have partners that's going to get there with us, and they're going to go ahead and start that care. Plus, notifying the emergency department is so important, because if we need to send you to the cath lab, minutes count. The phrase is, minutes equal heart muscle. And so we want to make sure we get there, we get those blockages opened up. And so our cath lab, excellent job. They do phenomenal work, but we want to make sure we notify them and get that information to it. The cardiologist can go and can already be notified, so they can be on the way in. I promise you, it may seem like you can get there quicker, but we're going to go ahead and start that care. You're not going to be sitting in traffic on the way to the hospital. You already have that care going on. Now, this is I'm going to throw a curve. Hopefully Greg doesn't get too mad at me, but the guys in the room, especially, we like to deny, and we don't want to listen, and it can't happen to me, okay? So really and truly pay attention to me. If you have your spouses here, I'm sure they're going to make sure that you go, but you got to tell them, okay? So every once in a while, if I have a situation, I'll make sure I tell my wife. That way I know she'll remind me to make sure I get it taken care of, and I appreciate that so much. So with that, I will say, who has questions about anything to do with EMS or anything? The gentleman back first. That's a great question.
Do the ambulances have the ability to change the street lights?
We do have, there are technologies there, and right now we're not employing them, but that is something that we're working on through a project with the City of Franklin. That is, it's really advanced. It's called Opticom is the name of the system, and we have had them before, and some of our units still have them in place. We're working through even a more advanced technological solution there that it knows the route you're going because you're a part of the computer-aided dispatch, and so it goes ahead and activates the light maybe a block before you get there. You haven't even turned right, it already is changing the signal. You had another
Sort of
question?
related to that one. So you hear an ambulance, and the system that City of Franklin has employed is called the Haas alerting system, which is going to warn you on your GPS, basically your GPS or Waze system, that an ambulance or that a vehicle, emergency vehicle, is within 30 seconds of you, to give you that heads up, because you may not hear it, but that's their new system. But I'm on Murfreesboro Road headed towards the interstate, and an ambulance comes up behind me. Where do I go? What do I do, Mark, to help you help those people?
Great question. We need you to slow down. We don't need you to jam on the brakes. Preferably pull to the right. But if you can't because of traffic, it's okay. Just slow down and stop. We'll navigate around. Make sure we're out of the way before you start moving again. It's going to be the best help. Did you have another question, sir? Great question. So the question is the lifespan of the vehicle. So we have a lot of ambulances, as you can tell, and I want to make sure I highlight the 18 is how many we staff. That's throughout the county. So there's 18 advanced life support ambulances in service right now in Williamson County. we actually have 30 total ambulances. The reason for that is we put them through an intense preventive maintenance program. When they have a problem, they come off the road, they're serviced, they're put back in. Safety is very important to us. And so we hope to keep an ambulance no longer than 5 to 7 years, depending on the mileage. At that same time, with the supply chain issues we've had to adapt and overcome in these last few years. And so, but that doesn't take away the safety. So everything we operate is maintained, is a very safe vehicle to be in. Yes, ma'am. Did you have a question?
Yes. One thing that I've seen on social media on this subject, why people don't call the ambulance is cost. And I know I've taken a ride in an ambulance before after a car accident, and even after insurance, I was still on the hook for almost $600. So how would you address those concerns for folks who say, like, I don't care how bad I've messed up, if I set foot in an ambulance, I'm not eating next week?
It's a real world problem. I'm not going to deny it at all. Matter of fact, I've heard people say before, let's don't worry about that right now. But it's a real world problem. And when our staff come to work for us, I make sure every one of them know that. And so a lot of our population may struggle with that. Everything's higher. It doesn't matter whether you're going to McDonald's, thank you for the coffee, that was great, or you're having health care. I will tell you, our team in Patient Financial Services are second to none, and they will work with you. They will maximize the dollars they can get from your insurance coverage, but also they'll work with you on how to pay those bills and not make it where you can't eat the next week. We don't want that, and so it is a challenge. I'm not going to hide away from that. Yes, ma'am. Okay, absolutely. So we have cardiac monitors that are in all of our ambulances. So they have the ability to monitor your heart rhythm, you ever been to a cardiologist and had a 12-lead EKG where they put electrodes all over you and look at different views of your heart conduction system? We can do that. Also, we can defibrillate with those. Now, another tool that you might see, and I don't know if I see one in this room or not, probably, I'm sure it's in this building, no doubt, is an automated or an AED. So that one, I mentioned that earlier. That's a device that is just designed to defibrillate somebody that's in ventricular field and their heart's not beating. So that's what its purpose is. Now, you also saw the Lucas 3. It's not a defibrillator. It's basically just doing CPR for you, as you saw that doing the compressions. So it's used to help keep the body, the heart, the blood flowing through the brains, moving those oxygen cells, so that we can employ advanced life support level care and hopefully get your heart back to beating on its own. Does that help a little bit?
We use all those in conjunction with each other. So the Lucas device might be doing chest compressions while the monitor is analyzing what rhythm or while they're preparing the defibrillator to shock their heart.
Yes.
They all have different purposes that can be used
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap up. Let me wrap up. And thanks, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Thank you,
If anybody
EMS.
has any questions, I'll be back here for a little bit.
Yeah, he'll be here for a little while. We want to make sure that we always try to keep this to an hour, but we want to make sure that you have time to stop by and practice the hands-only CPR, but also if you didn't prior to coming in, you get a chance to look in the EMS ambulance out there as well. So thank you so much to everyone for being here today. Bethany's got information about how to donate and how to or how to organize a blood drive. This is important. As we said, we all can use I hope you never have to, but hopefully you will have a better understanding of the importance of emergency services and emergency response in our community. Sarah Glenn from the Franklin Fire Department was here, and they're doing great things. They had over 11,000 calls in 2023, and over half of them are going to be medical calls or medical response to a crash or someone's personal injury as they respond in tandem with EMS. So please learn more about this, and what are the first things? Dial 911 and then start the hands-only CPR. So thanks for being here. We'll see you all. We're going to change our date in June. We are going to be on the third Monday of the month. And we are going to be at the Franklin Special School District Performing Arts Center adjacent to Poplar Grove. And we're going to be hearing from Dr. David Snowden, the superintendent of FSSD, as well as Jason Golden, the superintendent of Williamson County Schools. And they're going to give us a report card on the 23-24 school year. So it'll be a great topic, lots of room. But please join us, and please follow us on social media. And I'm available at any time for questions or opportunities, but share information and be engaged in your community. Thanks. Go out and make it a great day. Visit the tables. Thanks so much.